God. You know, just thanking him for this and thanking him for that, just thanking him, thanking him. And then by the time you get to asking God, you already, you know, your heart is lifted because you think it can always be worse. No matter what it is, it can always be worse. But you thank God for you know, all his many blessings and that. You know, he did it once, he can do it again.
Also, I came to realize reading the lesson, it's not, we don't know what David was praying for here, but it's not important, so like what you just spoke about, of what we're praying about, it's who we're praying to. We're praying to someone, to a being that can help us with our situation. It's not the situation that is important, it's who can help us with the situation. We have someone that we can call on for help. And that's what David was doing here. The Bible doesn't even tell us why he was praying this prayer. But he made it a point to let us know who he was praying to. And God has made himself available from David's time to our time. He's the same, the Bible tells us all the time. He's the same God. He hasn't changed. He still does what he does.
Brother Dan.
Yes, sir.
I had to, when I called, they had my head up 3 times.
we see it in the lesson here, David reaffirming his faith in him. See, God is our refuge and fortress, a present help in time of trouble.
Yeah.
And we can trust in him and have hope in him in times of distress. You know, and see, trusting in God and working for him has eternal value. And we know faith without work is dead. So, good.
And just like when you said it earlier too, tell me your story a few seconds ago. In the top part of it as introduction, song of your life.
Yeah.
And mine, 2 songs came to mind, and it's somewhat like yours. You know, I come up on the rough side of the mountain. You know, like God called my mother home when I was 10 years old. You know, father was never there, but he was there. You understand what I'm saying? But other song was praise him. Jesus, our blessed Savior, he is worthy to be praised. Yeah. So all, like Brother Lewis said, all the things that he done for me and to me, is outweighs the passing of my mother.
Yep. Anybody else got any?
That song, when it says, what song does you remind us?
Yeah.
It's not a biblical song. I know that I'm blessed, and we've all felt sorrow. We all, at some point in our lives, we felt. But me and my wife, we listened to music and stuff like that, and we all of a sudden came together on this one particular song that we both, when we heard it and we listened to the words of it, we looked at each other and was like, that's our song. And it's not a church song, but it's by Gerald Levert. And it's I Was Made to Love You. That's the name of the song. My eyes to see you, my arms to hold you, my legs to stand. You know, God gives us the ability, like you said, to tinker with things, to help us in our lives. But it's the knowledge that comes from God. It's not our own knowledge. It comes from somewhere else. We have to find it. And that's what our purpose in life is, to seek God out. Find out what our purpose is in life. And then he will pour on top of that.
Oh, yeah.
He will let you be a leader. He will let you be someone that helps people. He will let you, you know, guide your steps in the path that he has for you. Because once you realize that you're good at it, you're gonna embrace it. And you're gonna work towards it. And that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to find out our purpose. He made us for a purpose.
Yeah, like that first verse said, truly my soul waits upon God, for him comes my strength. Look at that. I don't know what tomorrow is gonna bring. I don't know what's gonna happen to me tomorrow. But I trust in the Lord enough, right? That whatever comes, he will protect me. He will And the book said that salvation is not the salvation of once you pass on, but the salvation that God is gonna save me from whatever evil's out there if it's his will. And I trust him, enough to do that.
Amen.
Any comment?
Yes, we often think about salvation as when we die in eternity. But salvation is, we receive salvation in this life also. We miss out on things unseen. Sometimes, you'll be getting ready to leave your house and forget something
Yeah.
and go back and get it. And something comes over the radio, the same path that you were gonna take, you were 5 minutes late, there was an accident there.
See, I know that's
You know,
yes.
so
yes.
sometimes salvation is not for after we die.
Yes.
Salvation, he saves us from things while we're here.
Yes.
He protects us from things while we're still here.
And you know what? That made me think about my sister LaBelle. My brother-in-law is usually out in the morning at a certain time on a Saturday, just out and about. But a phone call held him up. And because of that phone call, when my sister was laid out, he came downstairs and saw her.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, and she lived 10 years longer.
Yeah, see? God works.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I told the story, I think, about in the men ministry one time, that, and I didn't realize it then, now I realize it. You know, when I was in college, you know, a friend of mine, you know, I was coming home one night, driving home, and I saw his car at the gas station, it was late, and I said, man, that's must be a car.
Yeah.
And I usually, when I see him, I stop and holler, but some told me, you know, just go.
Yeah.
And I found out the next day that he had got shot and killed it, right there.
Oh,
And so,
good.
so now I
Wow.
look at it like that God, you know,
Yes.
he's protecting me, because the guy could have still been there.
Yeah.
And if I'd have went over there, then I
Yes.
could have been shot and killed.
Right.
So to me, that
Yes,
verse 1 is telling me
exactly.
that, you know, whatever comes that I don't know, you know, he's protecting me.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes, sir.
even when I don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes, sir.
He, you know, he's still there, protecting me.
Amen.
Any comments? And then go down to verse, again, we just talked about, he is my rock. He's only my rock in my salvation. He is my defense and shall not be good. Which, you know, you can't, there's no one that's gonna move God out of his place, you know. You know, he can't, you know, he just there always.
Yes,
And so,
always.
you know, there's nobody that can take his place, no matter what you think, you know. I guess, you know, some people put all this stuff in front of him, adultery, you know, but God is God. And
Yes.
nothing be in front of him.
The rock. We heard about the rock. He said, I will establish the rock, the church on the rock. Who is the church? We are the church.
Didn't John talk about salvation? You know, when they say so he's keeping me. And so when we think about that, that's right. It's not just, it's the present, it's the past, the present, and the future. You know, so that's how we gotta look at salvation. Now, because David's writing here about a time of trouble and how he trusted God. His trust was in God alone. He didn't have to worry about nothing because what he had been through. We often go through storms.
Yeah.
And it's for God is developing us. You know, you think about what David went through as a child when he had to kill the bird, when he had to kill the lion, and preparing for the battle against Goliath. Each stage is a step of faith. And we struggle with the walk because we don't trust God. And that's what he's trying to let us know. Put your trust in him and him alone. Regardless what happened. And this is really good for what's gonna happen in a couple weeks. Because we can't worry about it. All we can do is do our part and go.
Yeah.
And whatever happens after that, it's in God's hands. Yeah. And we got to trust God. God, he brought this far, and he ain't gonna leave us now. So what the song said, I don't feel no waste time.
Yes.
I've come too far. So we've come too far now. So we just gotta continue to trust him. And the church should be full. The church house should be full. Because we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. You know, and I say this on either way. Whoever did that, it could be a race war after this all over with.
Yeah.
Because people is crazy now. This world is in a bad shape. We gotta trust God. God promised he'll never leave us nor forsake us.
Good.
I did, but you had something to say, brother?
No, I'm good.
No, I was, a lot of times, but people don't understand, they don't realize exactly who God is, to trust God. So, a good start is coming to Sunday school, Bible study, and reading and praying and get to know him. There's just no way you can possibly truly understand, what to trust, because the world is so dangerous. The world is so crazy, and it can be so scary. It literally can be so scary that you don't know who to trust in. So, but if you truly know who he is, can you understand just the word God and what it really means? And who he really is. The reason why we worship him and we praise him, because what he can do is beyond our capacity. And till we understand that, you don't know how to trust him. But once you know he can, you know who he is, you can know.
Amen. Brother Scott, before Sunday school, see, that's why we gather together. Because we might see something or hear something that we haven't heard before. And this morning, Brother Scott came up and asked us a question. He was like, I heard somebody say that the first sin was in Eden.
What was the first sin?
Yeah, what was the first sin? A preacher was the first. And I was like, well, the first sin was in heaven before man got here. It started up there. But he had heard that. And that's why we come together, because if he didn't talk to anybody else about it, then that's what will sank in him. And he's asking questions. And we might have questions. And if we don't have somebody to ask questions with, it's going to sink in. And that's what we're going to believe. And we might be wrong.
Exactly.
If we don't hear another perspective.
That's exactly right. And you know, what y'all talk about is a real good point right there. Because to trust God is to really take him at his word with his plan. What happened in heaven was part of God's plan. And people have a hard time accepting that. Actually, like, God knows what we're going to do. God made us that way. So when we go through something, we can still trust him. But why we can't trust him, that Mother Dave was talking about, is because, look at the choir right now. I'm thankful for everybody here, but the Sunday school should be full. You know, but 11 o'clock hour, we'll have more people come. But really, Sunday school and Bible study is where we need to be at. Because that's where really you learn more about him. And if you don't ever go through nothing, you ain't gonna trust him. I'm gonna tell you, y'all.
That's right.
Yeah, because we don't ever question the doctors. We don't never question our bosses at work. But why we'll come to church and question God. And that's why, because this journey is a walk of faith. You gotta believe in him. And this is what David is really trying to give us an understanding in this text. That, hey, take it from me now. That's what David said. Take it from me.
That's right.
Yeah, I know what he's able to do. Even in the midst of my fault, he didn't leave me. And so I'm not trying to jump, but those next few verses talk about his enemies. Have y'all got those? Okay.
You know, and you know, like David had built that foundation of trust with God because of what he had went through. You know, a lot of y'all talk about foundation, about you know, what you had, you know, in you, and I think back, and I think my grandmother, because every Sunday she had me, you know, in church, even though, you know, after I left home, I kind of strayed, you know, to the left, to the right. She had put that foundation in and that trust in me, and you know, when it was time for me to, you know, for God to get me right, it was easy for me because it was, you know, to me it was already in me, and like my mother had put it in me, but we were going to church. She was so, you know, we put it on, but then she was, we going to church, and we walked, but we were going. Yes, sir.
Okay, you were talking about trust. I was talking about one of my grandsons earlier this week, and he was trying to persuade me to, you know, go a certain way. And said, if you don't vote like this, you know, everybody's gonna end up in the soup line on like this. I said, baby, I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't care who gets in the White House.
That's right. That's right.
I'm not gonna be in no soup line because I got trust in God.
That's right.
I don't care who they put in there.
Exactly right.
I got trust in God, and I ain't getting no soup line. I said, now you get in, I'm gonna find out way better. But God didn't let me get in no soup line.
That right there, if you really have read the Bible warns us about this, about these times.
That's right.
It says the whole world will chase after mammon. Mammon is money. You know, they think that money is gonna solve things, not realizing that God said, I will give you, if that's what your heart desires right now, he said, I'll give it to you. He said, but now you have received your blessing, so now what's left? Well, he didn't promise that you're gonna be rich here. He promised you're gonna be rich there. You know, we believe in eternal, not just in what we have right here. Because he tells us that all the things that are here are gonna rust away. They're gonna fade away. They ain't gonna be good for anything. But what he has is eternal.
Yes, ma'am.
Just what Brother Scott was talking. One day, last week, I heard this, they were interviewing this young man that says he's an undecided voter.
Yeah.
But then he said he and his friends like the way number 45 talk, because they talk like, he talks like me. And I told mine, I have a grandson and a great grandson, and I told him, I said, I don't know who you're hanging out with and who you're talking with, but I hope they're not that disrespectful, and I hope they don't have all these crazy ideas. And you have to guard your mind, because if Satan gets your mind, he has you. So that's one thing they're saying, this following of young men, especially young black men.
Exactly right.
And I can't believe, I just really can't believe that our young men are that, I'm gonna say ill and poor. I'm gonna put it nicely. I wanna say another word, but I'm not gonna say it.
Thank you. I know that's right.
But, that they're not that, well, I know they don't read enough to know.
Yeah.
About things, but, okay, for an example, if that person wins, and we are thrown into this autocracy, it's not gonna matter whether you vote Republican or Democrat, because the whole country is gonna be governed in the same way. So, my thought is, do they not know that? Evidently they don't. Nobody, if they tell you, you can't go past the borders of Clarksville outside the city limit, that means everybody.
That's
It
right.
doesn't mean just one person.
Mhm.
So it's more serious
Exactly
than
right.
what people are seeing. They don't get the full picture of the gravity of what's going on. If a person tells you, who said that, Maya Angelou, if they tell you who you are, believe them, that's who you are.
That's right.
That's who that person is.
Yeah, exactly.
So we need to, like you were saying, people not coming to Bible school and Sunday school. So it's a matter of studying the word
That's
and believing
That's
what the word says.
Right.
If you're, seeing these things and you're bugging it out, you need to be informed.
That's right.
You need to know what is actually going on. And how many people are gonna actually research a candidate
Mm-hmm.
and know what that person stands for? But that's what we need to do, you know?
And just a bit, baby, because we want to go on party line.
Yeah.
And I tell folks all the time, you gotta understand the difference between Republican and Democrat. And I had a talk with a guy 2 weeks ago. He said, he's a Christian. He said, I'm really having a hard time voting like I normally vote. I said, I'm glad you're saying that, because we say we saved, and we ought to act like it, and so we ought to expect other people to act like it. Ain't no way we can sit here and say that he's the right candidate, the way he has treated folks, or how he talk about folks. But people look past that part and say, well, he's a Republican, I gotta vote for him. And Dr. King said it best, the character. We don't vote for me because I'm black.
Yeah,
Vote
okay.
for me because of my character. And that's what we gotta look, we gotta instill that in our young children. Our young children looking for one thing, a fast dollar. And he's saying the right, he's saying the right thing. But like I said, check his track record. He a lie too, y'all. Yeah, and this is why it's so important that we talk about this. But the main thing is trust God.
Yes, that's
Our
true.
enemies, we talk about.
That's true.
Go ahead, brother.
Just think about it like this right here. People are, like you said, the party split this right here. When Jesus was walking and he had his disciples with him, and there was a big group of people that was walking with him, and some of those people heard Jesus preach, speak, and they went another way. He didn't make them follow him. He showed them what he was about. But one of the disciples says, bring down fire on them. And he's like, no, if they're not against us, they're for us. People are trying to make people do things now, right now. If you don't do or think like I think, you're bad, you're this, you're that. Jesus doesn't make us do what he says. He leaves us a trail, a story of what's going to happen to us. So if you consider what's going to happen to you, he said, don't fear man who can take your life. He said, fear him who can take your life and your eternal spirit, your eternal soul. So he's letting you know, you're going to die anyway. So if that man kills you, or you get in a car wreck, or you just die of old age, you're going to die. He said, but once you die, absent from the body, present with the Lord. So now what's going to happen to your spirit? That's that eternal thing. Because when he said, I cast it into the fire, it didn't say that it just cast it in the fire and it was no more. He said it was the eternal damnation. Forever and ever. You're going to be in that situation. Burning in hell, gnashing of teeth.
I'm telling y'all.
Consider those things,
And I'm telling y'all, that fire is real.
Yeah.
That fire is real. I'm going to say this right quick. A few years ago, you know I'm going to say it was Father's Day. So I go home and cook some fish. It was beautiful, just like this. I got everything cooking and getting ready. Next thing I came back in, then I heard all this popping. It started raining. I opened the door, it was a big blaze out there. So I tried to come back in my house. Some of my family members pushed me back out there. I'm telling y'all, that fire is real. Nigga Johnson came over there, man. AT was on crutches. He took off running, but my wife and Ricky, they pushed me back. I said right there, I need to change my beneficiary.
It's real though, it's real.
But you know, when you look at that text though, David is saying, he says, he's my defense, my fortress. In other words, he was letting them know that he trusted in God alone for his strength and stability. The description is of a man completely focused on God for his help. And so, to know he's my defense, that means you gotta try it. And not only do you gotta try it, you gotta abide in him. And because he wants you to abide in him, but he wants to abide in you. And that's what you heard all the time, people say, I'm full of the Holy Ghost, I'm full of the Holy Ghost. But it's the Holy Ghost got you though. That's the problem.
All right.
And the second, not the second part, but the confronting his enemies, Pastor mentioned that a little bit earlier, that he wants to, I guess, expound on that. How long will you imagine mischief against a man? Shall ye be slain, all of you? As a bowing wall shall ye be, and as a tottering fence. Rick Johnson mentioned something a while ago that, you're gonna die anyway. If man kill you, then, he kill you, but he can't kill you unless it's God's will. And stuff. So, what's gonna happen after that? Are you gonna be, not worried about what man do, what mischief he does, because again, God holds my salvation, my life in his hands. Yes, ma'am.
And also, we need to realize, when it says trust in God and God alone, because he knows how conniving and Satan is. David's time, the biggest thing was actually battles, fighting wars. Today, we can fight with guns, actual physical wars, emotional wars, psychological wars. There's all kinds of wars that Satan is trying to put on. Even with the election going on, they try to win the Christians over into the Republicans area, saying all this about the Democrats, but there's no love, there's no Christian love in that candidate at all. But we're gonna skip the foundation of what Christianity is about and try to throw you over there. Satan is slick. Satan is truly slick. His job is to destroy, steal, kill, and deceive. This is his job, and he's really good at it. And I think he enjoys it. He never seems to stop. So because of that, if we realize that there's always enemies around. David gonna let you know there's always gonna be enemies. You have to trust God.
Amen.
So even though they're gonna bring up all these things about the Democratic candidate, that may be true. But can I tell you something? Even though I don't care how bad she is, God can still control what she can do.
That's right.
That's what they don't seem to understand. God is, when he say he trusts him, he can do things way beyond how I can understand it. It's not for me to understand how he's done it. It's just for me to understand, to trust that he's doing it.
It's the character though, it's the character.
Yeah.
We need to, we gotta still be who we are. So just because they don't play dirty politics, don't mean we should play dirty politics. Right. Yeah. And because we are saved. We are saved, and we gotta at all times look to the hill. And so when we think about that, you can't control that person. But like, I don't let that person say, well, I know who I am. Yeah, and you talk about death. One of the biggest problems with death is the fact that people scared to die. Death ain't the issue, y'all. Death ain't the issue. Cause I ain't never talked to a dead person talking how you feel. But dying, nobody wanna suffer. But for the first thing people always ask, how did they die? God called them home, you know, but all this killing and everything, God is just showing people. He did a different way in the Bible days, but he's doing it, the method will change, but the message will never change. And so the message is always about trusting in him, who's able to keep you from falling.
You said something about the character and stuff.
Yeah.
The Bible tells us, that's why it's so important to read this book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he said he will bring it back to your remembrance. You're not gonna remember everything in this Bible, but you're gonna find yourself in a situation like we were talking about when you were younger. You're gonna come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
He says, don't repay evil for evil.
That's exactly right.
If you do, you're just like the perpetrator. He said, we are a peculiar people. We forgive. And just think about our history in America. I don't know about what happened over in Africa. I ain't never been. I probably ain't gonna never go. But as an American, and all that we have been through as a people, we still forgive. We still reach out and offer help. You know, I say it all the time. Some guys at work, they are hard, like some of them. But I'll say, if we went somewhere and you were in the hood, and a group of guys, black guys or whatever, came and was going to just jump on you just because you were there, and they perceived the wrong place at the wrong time, I would say something. Because it's my character to say something. I don't care what color you are, right is right, wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter what color you are. You know, people think that I'll let, or we sometimes, what they think is that we're gonna do to them what they did to us.
Yeah.
That's what they're afraid of.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't sit down and talk to it, and we'll show them. We ain't trying to do, we're trying to get the same rights, the same justice, the same opportunities that America says that it offers everybody. But there's a certain group of people that
That's right.
are fighting hard against that, make America great again.
When was it great?
No, when was it great for everybody?
Yeah, that's right.
That's the question. When was it great for? Because everybody has made America, but when was it great for everybody?
It's not so much making America great again as it is making America what it looked like at first, and eliminating black and brown people. And so that right there is, in the long run, that's the goal.
Yeah.
That's why they're talking on this board thing, because all these are the brown people that.
Yeah.
But it's not only that, though. It's, they worried about the pure race. See, that's so the Bible talks about there's only one race.
Yeah.
And so when you put a dark skin with a light skin,
Oh, it's gonna show up.
yeah. So that one race is gonna eventually be no more, and that's what they scared
It'll all
of.
be
That's
the
right.
same.
That's
And I
right.
realized
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's it right there.
Yeah, even the word Caucasian, it came from when they left that central area and went north
Right.
and crossed the Caucasus Mountains.
Right.
That's the word Caucasian, and that's the Europe, and yeah, they went north. If you believe in the Bible, then you believe where life started. That's in you.
That's it.
Anybody does an ancestry test, then that's gonna show up in you. There ain't gonna be no 100% of anything. It's gonna be some of that.
That's right.
That central place is gonna be in you. But they think that they're different. And when we say race, there's only one race. Human race.
That's right.
You know, that's just like denominations. If you're Christian, it don't matter if you're Pentecostal, Baptist, this, that. If you're Christian, you're Christian. And you should act like a Christian, not like a Pentecostal, not like a Baptist. You're supposed to be acting like a Christian. But they think that they're different. Everybody wants to stand apart, stand higher. But it's exciting.
Yeah. So move on to section 2, calm, discover. Refocusing on God. My soul Wait thou only upon God, for my expectations from him. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense, and again, I shall not be moved. Then we just talked about it, if you put your trust in God and knowing that he's gonna be the one that's gonna deliver you, no matter what you go through, then, everything else, should be, I ain't gonna say second nature, but you shouldn't worry, you shouldn't worry about it. What I don't understand is if you say you're a Christian, the Christian will be Christ-like.
Yeah.
You can look at somebody and say, yeah, that's the person that I'm gonna follow. I mean, does he got anything in him that's Christ-like? So that's always just got me thinking, how can somebody say today, I'm evangelical Christian, because evangelical means be Christ-like too. To say that's what I want to be, but then this is the person that I'm gonna listen to and believe everything that this person say. I just can't get my head wrapped
Well,
around
the
it.
Bible tells us that it's gonna come a time that God's gonna say, okay, I done had enough. He's gonna say, I done had, and what he said is that I will give them over to a reprobate mind. Satan's been trying all along. Satan couldn't touch Job until God said, okay, try him.
Yeah, that's right.
God is protecting us all this time, but Satan has been trying to get us. God's gonna say, okay, open up, he's gonna remove that hedge.
Yeah.
And we can't fight against Satan.
That's right.
The Bible tells us resist him, but flee.
Mm-hmm.
We can't stand and fight against him. It's not in us. But, it's in us if God is in us. It's in us.
Yes.
He said, if God is in you, then you can resist Satan. But he says he's gonna give them over to a reprobate mind.
Wow.
That means they're gonna be following things, lovers of themselves.
I was just, that little question on page 76 at the bottom under calm discovered. What do you think? Why was David able to express this kind of confidence in the Lord before Jesus' atoning sacrifice? Mason is the only one in this room under 20. Everybody else has lived long enough to know and experience that trusting God, faith in God is a growing process. They had been through some things. David had been through enough before Jesus' sacrifice to know, love, trust, and depend on God, and to stand in the face of no matter what. We're facing a lot in this world. Election in the next 10 days, the biggest thing that will impact us for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
But we know a God that will be our protector, our provider, no matter what, no matter who's in the White House.
Yes, sir.
And, having that faith in God, at least for me, don't mean that I don't get scared.
That's right.
Because I am,
That's
when
right,
when my
David.
daughter go places, by herself, I'm afraid, but I got, faith and trust in him.
Yes, sir.
He is there, he's gonna watch over. And
Yeah.
that's what I pray for.
Yeah.
That's what I pray for.
And that's where it's at, right, bro. If you still at the same place today, after 10 years of being there, well, something that's a problem.
Right.
Your faith, your trust in God has to continue to grow, but you got to use it. You got to learn to take it to Him, and you must be concerned, but you know it's in His hand.
Yeah.
And what we have a problem with, I'm saying we now, because God does not answer our prayers like we want Him to, or He don't answer our prayers when we want Him to. God says in His word, what He's gonna do? He's gonna take care of us. And like Brother Scott said, I ain't gonna be no super line. It might be a lot of people in super line, but God gonna, if I had to eat some squirrels and rabbits or something, I know how to feed myself now.
Right.
I might even have to cook some gospel stew for y'all one night. But that's what we got to learn. And it's a little thing. Sister Shirley, you don't mind my pick on you right now, do you?
Not at all.
Okay. Sister Shirley, daughter, they found out the memorial in Tanoba, but when they got to Nashville, They couldn't find him. When the doctor saw him, that ain't nobody but God right there.
Yeah.
That ain't nobody but God.
Yeah.
And we was praying for God answered our prayer.
Yes.
But we were thinking about they gonna have surgery. But God said, I'm gonna do something better than that.
That's all.
And we got to learn to, and that's what I want to talk about, because trusting God is to take it to him. Because that's what they want, because not the word, to have a calmness about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the midst of a storm, to have a calmness about it.
Yes.
I don't know how he's gonna do it, but he said he's gonna do it.
Oh,
and that's what we gotta trust in him and say.
Brother David, I think Mother Lois.
But you didn't get to verse 7, but, those verses, David keeps going back to God being his salvation, his rock, his deliverer, and, the strength. In verse 7, and God is my salvation and my glory, the rock of my strength, and my refuge is in God. So it keeps going back to the same idea that God is his support in all of these calamities that David went through. How he still goes back to God being his salvation, how he brings him through, and he has examples,
That's right.
life experience as how God has brought him through. And if we get to that point too, I know God, you did it before, you can do it again. You brought me before, you can bring me again.
Amen.
So everything was, he was secure in God's strength and in God's deliverance and God's power.
And when we think about that, Romans 8:20 says all things work together.
Yes.
So we don't understand when he's doing sometimes when we're going through the fire.
Yes.
But David is saying, don't worry, keep you calm, because God got you.
Yes,
sir. And that's what we got to start sharing. You think about the civil rights movement, and Dr. King kept calmness about himself. He kept on reminding, no, we ain't gonna go gun for gun war. He kept calm because he had assurance in God, and God takes us all through some different things in life for us to build that trust in Him. But if we don't hear nobody else's story, we won't never believe our own story.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so good to have a real witness. That's what about be a witness about how great He is. And we don't share enough stories about when God doing something for us. Because it ain't this world. It's God who's in charge of this world.
And I want to say that everyone on this earth has a story. Because God has protected us, saved as well as unsaved. The difference is the saved will recognize God is Lord.
Yeah.
Unsaved hasn't recognized what God is at. But once as you live in this Christian world, you look back, oh, look what God has been doing.
Yes.
Oh, He has never left me. He just wanted me to recognize who He is. So, we all have He's done it before story. We all have it. It's just that we need to just go back and call. He's done it before.
It's like what I said earlier on. It's not what we're going through. It's who we pray to. David said, after all this, David said, create in me a clean heart. Because now that really opens up the pathway to my conversation with God. Because he knows your heart already. But David said, I know I'm a sinner. But if you would remove this sin, so I want to hear from you. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I might be in traffic and holler at somebody for cutting me off, just in a minute of a break. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen to us from one minute to the next.
That's right.
But when we know who to pray to, because we can't do it on our own. We know who can do it. It's not the situation, it's the problem solving. It's not the problem, it's the problem solving. There's always gonna be a problem. But what if we can have these stories or know God to go to with these problems? What would we do? You got probably some of the same problems I got. I'm trying to work through. You know, you can't fix it, but God can. And He might have sent you through your problem before I got to my problem. Now you can come from me and show me, this is what I did in that situation. This is how I handled it. Now I know, I was like, well, there's hope. I ain't stuck. You know, I can get through this. You know, that's why we confess one to another. Because we all go through things. You know, we all have been through things. Like my wife was just saying back a while ago. Our son hasn't been through what we've been through. So when we tell him, it's what the Bible does for us. This Bible is a Bible of old. The things that we get ready to go through, they've already been through them. There's nothing new under the sun. They already been through them. But we have hope that we can make it through them. Because they're letting us know, this is how I got through it.
That's right. That's why God told Moses to tell him who brought you through.
That's right.
To tell him. And the real problem with our young generation, they don't want to be around us old men now. But when I was a child, I hung around them old men, listen to the stories and stuff. You know, try to keep you, rooted and guided. But now, these young, they know everything. They come into a job, want to be the top dog. They don't want to start at the ground level, work themselves up. They want a title or a position. But God wants to be humble. And if you think about what Jesus did, he humbled himself. He humbled himself. And that's what we got to do. We got to remain humble about the situation. Even after that, we still got to be humble people. And I know we want to be like Dion, and it's prime time. But we are better people than that, y'all. We're better. You know, James Smith was saying like this: act like you've been here before. You know, it ain't my first rodeo. You know, act like you've been here before. In other words, this is what we expected to do, and that's this is what we expect God to do. This.
Yeah.
You know, that's God got some expectations for us. But God has shown what He's able to do in His Word. But the text says, what? In the midst of your calm, we got to trust Him, though.
We want to get that, but Mother Lewis said something, Pastor said something. You know, Mother Lewis talking about the young men. They don't want to read. They don't want to read their history. They don't want to hear about it. And like Pastor just saying, when they come in, they don't want to start at the bottom and work their way up. They want to come in. Hey, I'm already. I know this. I want to be right on top already. But if you start from the top, then what are you going to learn? You're going to learn it.
You're going to learn how to fall. You're going to learn how to fall. If you start at the top, there's only one place you can go.
But that's it's just like, when you go through stuff, God is just, building up your